Oh, yeah. All right. We are here. We are live. Oh, this is so exciting. I'm really excited for this webinar. I've been saying it multiple times since Cyndi's hopped on here because I have my sheet of paper, I have my pen, I have some fun colors. I'm ready to go. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun. But just want to welcome everybody here today. First of all, a couple things. I'll be really quick, then I'll hand it over to Cyndi because I know we have a lot of ground to cover here today. But just want to welcome everyone for joining us on this Travefy Academy webinar here today. Now, just want to say, if this is your first time joining us for a Travefy Academy specific webinar, like today's webinar, if this is your first time, really what Travefy Academy is for is it's really just designed to be a free and educational resource for travel professionals. So if you go to academy.travefy.com, you'll see all of our other past content there. We have a podcast, lots of articles, free downloads, all stuff that's designed around to help you grow your business with like marketing, sales, all that kind of stuff. So you won't hear us talk about like Travefy as a product here today. Sometimes it comes up organically and that's totally fine. But that's really what Travefy Academy is designed to do. And we get to have amazing speakers like Cyndi here today, which I'll introduce in just a minute. But I do also want to note two housekeeping things. One, this is being recorded. So if you do need to hop off or you're probably going to want to send this to someone, you can get that recording on our YouTube channel, but it'll also just be on academy.travefy.com. So you can check it out there. And then the other thing is Q&A. So we will have time for a Q&A as well. So we might not get to all questions, but we'll do our best. But if you can put your questions either in the Q&A box or the chat, either one of those, I'll be watching and paying attention to them so I can try to gather those up for Cyndi at the end. But with that being said, the moment we've been waiting for, Miss Cyndi Williams, who is CEO and founder of Wanderlust Campus and Wanderlust Social. So welcome here. Oh, the confetti. I love it.
I had to do it, Steph. I had to do it.
It's so amazing. I love it.
So good. Well, hi everybody. It's so great to see everyone. We've been around in Travefy before, bringing you guys some educational content. And when Steph and I were talking earlier this year, I was like, we got to do the goals workshop in first quarter. That's everybody's favorite thing. This is one of our most popular ones for our students. So I hope that you guys are going to love it. So I'm ready to jump in, Steph, unless you have anything else you want to go over.
No, you can just go right ahead. And I am going to spotlight you. So, okay. So I have you spotlighted.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead. Let me know. Is the presentation showing up for you guys?
Perfect. I can see it.
Yay, great. So we're doing the goal mapping workshop. This is not going to be an old-fashioned workshop. You guys are going to do this with me together today. And that's what's going to be so fun about it. By the time we end the workshop, we're really going to have a really good idea about what your goals are for this year and all of the things that you want to be working towards all year long. And for those of you who don't know me, I'll talk about that here in a second, but I want you to know that this workshop is not just about what you want to do in your travel business, but what do you want from your life? That is a big question. I know we're not going to answer all of those questions today, but I at least want you to take some baby steps forward into how do you want your work life and your personal life to blend together for your ultimate happiness. That's really the goal for all of us, especially so many of you are entrepreneurs starting to run your own business, whether you're doing your travel business at hobby level or you're doing it full scale, full time. We want to figure out how you can operate in a space that feels amazing. So I always say, don't be so busy that you're so busy working that you forget to build a life. I love to share just a personal story. And although it's a heartbreaking story, for those of you that follow my community or you follow us on our YouTube channel, we actually lost one of our staff members last year. It was very, very sad. Her name was Evie Strange, and she was an amazing, just a pillar. She was actually the supervisor of our coaching department, and she passed away from cancer last year after a year and a half of just battling. And through that process, although it was so hard and difficult to watch her go through that journey, you know, watching her with the grace and the gratitude and how she kind of moved through the world in in that space. And it just was a big wake up call to me last year of like, you guys, we get one life. Let's make sure we don't waste any days. And although, all of us love what we do work-wise, make sure you're finding that balance. So one of the ways I try to honor Evie's journey going forward is to tell her story and remind people to be that wake-up call to go, I don't know how many years we have left. Maybe it's a day, maybe it's 100 years. I hope it's 100. But wherever you are on your journey, let's make sure that we understand that the dream is right now. Every day as you're working towards your goals, it's still an opportunity to show up in your life in a big way. So yes, I'm the coach who's going to teach you about life and work balance. We're going to do a little bit about that in the workshop. Steph kind of went through my introduction already. I'm not going to go deep into this, but yes, I've been in the industry 30 years. CEO of Careers on Vacation, formerly Careers on Vacation. Wanderlust Campus is our new name, and Wanderlust Social, but we create education and consulting services for travel professionals. That's how we show up and serve in the travel industry. We've trained thousands since I've been I've been doing it 30 years, guys. So we're in the thousands now in terms of what we've trained. And I have a 10-year track record of running multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses. I have a goal map for you. So you're not going to need this right now. This is a tool though that you're going to want when you leave the session today to map out future goals. So if you want a copy of our goal map resource, you can go to wanderlustceo.com/goal map, and you can get a copy of the goal map. I'm going to show it to you a little bit later in the workshop, and we are going to use it today, but I want you to have it for your future goals as you go. All right, we got to the first part here. So this is what I want you guys to do. Grab a piece of paper, blank piece of paper. If you brought markers, great. If you didn't, you can use a pen as well. And I want you to draw a little circle. I'm actually going to give you, I'm going to go back to my face here for just a second, Steph.
No worries.
I'm going to give you guys, keep me spotlighted because I'm going to give you guys a really easy way to do this. So on your blank piece of paper, take whatever marker you want or pen. If you don't have a bunch of fancy markers, that's fine. This is not art class. You're not going to get a grade at the end. I want you to just draw your circle. So circle, easy peasy. And then just draw an X, like from X-Men, inside your circle. This is a little trick to get your things done. Once you draw your X, then I want you to draw a line straight down here. So it should look like that. And then the last thing you're going to do on these two big sections, I'm doing this backwards, you're going to draw a V inside of there. So if you draw, see how I just drew a V inside that big section? Do the same thing on this section. That will give you the exact number of pieces that you need. And guess what? If they don't match and they're not perfectly, perfect, that's totally fine. No worries. All right. Once you have those all situated, oops, hang on. Whoops, hang on. There we go. Once you have those all situated, now I want you to write the categories, and I'm going to write these out as we go. So for timing wise, we can all do it together. So we're going to have health as the first one, then career, romance. Steph, did you know we're going there today? We are. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I love this. It's just all about everything in life possible.
Yes, very holistic approach. Social life, family, contributions. And people always ask what, that's usually one of the questions that comes up in the feed. What do you mean by contributions? So the way that I think about contributions are do you do volunteering anywhere? Is there anywhere that you give back? Like, when my daughter was younger, I was like a Girl Scout mom. That would be not something I have to do, but I signed up to be a Girl Scout mom. So that's a way that I contributed back in our community. Also, I do a lot of advocacy work in the travel industry, so that's how I would chart some of my contributions. So things like that. And maybe you're not doing anything like that right now. That's totally fine. We'll talk about that in a second. Personal growth is next. Spirituality. That's whatever it means to you. Fun and finances. All right, so from here, you're going to have all of these different categories written. And the next thing I want you to do is just jot up about 10 little dashes on one line. It can be anywhere on your little pie. I put mine on the top. But what I'm trying to create here is a little gauge for you, okay? 10 little quick dashes. And then the next step that you're going to do is I want you to, if you have different colors, this is where it gets really fun and exciting. You can use different colors or you can use the same one, but I want you to go category by category. And I want you to fill in your pie pieces. And here's how the scale is going to work. 1 is going to be the lowest dash. So let's say that I have no social life. That is one that I really do not have much of a social life. I have 3 kids and 3 businesses, but not much of a social life. So for me, that one would be maybe a 1. Okay. So I'm only going to fill that to about where that top notch is. So you're just going to color it in to about where that top notch is, and then move through each category. Nobody's going to look at this. No, I'm not going to ask you to share this on screen. This is your private information. Go ahead and work through this entire wheel and just color each section. So figure out where you would be notch wise. Think about that for a second. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to work on that. I know Steph's working on hers too.
I'm doing mine too.
Yeah. I've done it 4 times, but I'm just going to keep filling it out. So
I know. Does it change? Like every time you've done it, has it changed?
So it's all been for me in the last 30 days. So it's pretty much the same right now. Same things I'm working on.
Yeah.
But from year to year, it will change. Like last year, I had a really, big focus on personal growth. And I really wanted to focus on my health last year from a perspective of I was stressing myself out too much. So I improved in those categories, which was fantastic.
That's awesome. Someone just asked too, what's between spiritual growth and family? So it's personal growth and contributions in there.
Yes.
Between. Yep. And someone also just asked too. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Or someone asked real quick, are we marking how much time we're devoting to each category? So
that's a great question. Not so much the time that you're devoting to the category, but where you feel the state of the union is, if you will, in those areas. Like, how are your finances? Are they good? Are they strong? Are you feeling great about them? So it's more of like an indicator about how you feel in those categories, not so much like my finances could be good, but I might not actually spend a lot of time every single day focusing on my finances. It might be the work that I did in the past, but I'm feeling solid in that category. Could be the same thing in your family life. Like I know my family life is pretty stable, situated, but I'm not necessarily, I do spend a lot of time on there, but it doesn't have to be indicative of the actual time measurement. That's a good question. And Steph, if there's any other questions in there, feel free to feed them to me because I can't see them when I'm on this.
Yeah, for sure. I've got you. I'll be watching.
Good. I like it. I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes to wrap this up.
And someone said, they did ask, are we adding dashes? So like, I mean, this is what I did. I don't know if like, if you can really, wait, I forgot my camera's up. Oh yeah. I forgot my camera's like over there, so it's gonna be kind of hard to see, but I kind of just made like a color. I colored in like a little bit of the pie.
Exactly. Yeah, you want it to look like a pie chart. So, and I'm gonna click to the next screen to show you guys what it should look like when you're done.
Oh, perfect.
It'll look something like this. So this is just a sample. I'll give you a couple more minutes to finish that. And as you're going through these categories, again, it's no judgment. It's like, you know where you are health-wise, you know where you are romance-wise, you know where you are. Are you taking time to have fun? Fun is one of those things that I don't make extra time for fun, but I make sure that what I do every day is fun, if that makes sense. So like everything from I choose the video content I'm going to create. I choose, like this week with our students, we had a big mastermind call and I decorated our classroom for Valentine's Day. For me, that's fun. So I incorporate fun into, kind of what I'm already doing. So I consider myself a pretty fun person. So I would be pretty solid in that category, even when we're working. So just think about it from how you feel in those areas. And what you'll start to see is a pattern of where your opportunities are, right? So where are my opportunities? Where am I feeling solid about? And And when you think about like from scale 1 to 10, 1 should be like, oh my gosh, I need immediate emergency help with this, would be like a 1. Like my social life is probably like a 1 or 2. Like like even my daughter's like, Mom, you need some friends. I'm like, I'm too busy, right? So I get it. Like that's 1 for me that's going to score really low. But for career, for example, like if you teach like if you're so good at your career, you teach other people how to do it, that might be a really strong category for you. So that's kind of how to think about it. All right, Steph, how are you doing on yours? You got all your little things filled in?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay, good.
Got
All right,
mine.
I'm going to go ahead and go to the next section. So now what I want you to think about as you're moving through this exercise, we're going to talk about some reflection questions in regards to what we just filled out. I want you to answer these questions for yourself. And even if you're just jotting down 1 or 2 word answers, that's fine. What was your biggest achievement last year? What was your biggest achievement? Did you was it a work achievement? Was it a family achievement? Whatever, it doesn't have to be business related, but what was that biggest achievement last year? And then the next thing I want you to think about is what was your biggest learning moment? I shared with you guys about my story with Evie, and that was probably my biggest learning moment last year, is just like, wow, we're all working so hard and I've been really on my grind growing all my travel brands. And Evie was a part of that at the beginning of our company and beginning of our journey. But I was like, holy cow, everything could be ripped away from you in a moment's notice. So for me, from a learning perspective, I was like, I'm going to stop. And when we did our big retreat last year, I said, yes, I'm still going to teach you how to do all the things with growing your travel business, but I don't want to forget to also teach you how to have a life, right? So that was one of my biggest learning moments last year, from going through that experience and watching, Evie go through that devastating process, and just my wake up call. And then how do I honor her journey going forward? How do I live a better life? And how do I teach other people how to live a better life? So for me, that was my biggest learning moment. Yours could be completely different. So whatever that was for you. And then what held you back the most last year? This is a big one, right? What held you back the most? Was it time? Was it health? Was it resources? Was it, I don't know. It could be a million things. There's a lot of hurdles sometimes that are in our way as entrepreneurs. What was the thing that you felt like that held you back the most? And then what are you most embarrassed or frustrated with in your life? Again, we're not going to share these unless you guys want to share them later, but what are you most embarrassed or frustrated with at this point in your journey, either personally or professionally? Jot that down. You're just getting real with yourself, guys. That's all we're doing here. And then what are you committing to changing moving forward? What's most important to you that you change going forward this year? And last but not least, and I don't think you should come up with this answer really right now, but I want you to reflect on it even past our session today. What could be your 1 word mantra, 1 or 2 words? Like last year, my word was self-care, because I mentioned I was just working so hard. I was just like, go, 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 go. And I just was getting in these patterns of like stress, right? So self-care, I really adopted that for last year. This year, my word is like bold action, because we are just in a flow of doing big things with our business. So you see how it can change from year to year based on what your focuses are. It took me though, this is the 4th time I've trained this workshop across the industry. It took me until workshop 3 to come up with my mantra. So it's okay to let that like sit on your heart for a couple weeks until you find just the right thing that you want to adopt. All right, now I want to talk about setting SMART goals and really workshopping goals. I like to follow the SMART technique, which means I want your goals to be specific. I want them to be measurable. I want them to be attainable. I want them to be relevant, and I want them to be time-based. So I'll give you an example of like a not a SMART goal, and then an example of a SMART goal. An example of not using the SMART goal system is, I want to get healthy this year. Like that's too vague. What does that mean? Instead, if you want to say, I want to bring my blood pressure down to XYZ, or I want to I want to be able to go to Disney and go to the parks and not have my feet hurt at the end of the day, or I want to lose a certain amount of weight or whatever, like an attainable goal that is measurable. Okay. So what is the specific goal? I would like to lose 30 pounds. I would like to bring my blood pressure down to a certain frame. Those are very specific measures that you can then check yourself against that. And is it measurable? You can measure 30 pounds. You can measure a blood pressure setting, right? And is it attainable? So if you are, maybe you can't lose 200 pounds in 1 year, but you could maybe lose 30 depending on where you are, right? And is it relevant? And then time-based. Time-based is important. And I like to always have like a minimum goal and kind of what I call a stretch goal. But when it's time-based, I want to do that by the end of the year. I want to do it by July 15th or whatever your date is for your particular goal. Again, it does not have to be a health goal. I'm just giving you an example of the difference of something being specific and measurable and attainable, relevant, and time-based versus too generic, because it's really easy. If you guys have had the same goal on your list for years and years of like, I want to be healthy, I want to make more money. Okay, you want to make more money, but what does that mean? How much money? And when do you want to make it by? That's how we start breaking down goals, so you can then create an environment where you're holding yourself accountable to those goals versus, oh, I didn't make it, I'll just put it on next year's list again, right? All right. Now, of all the goals that you've kind of thought about, those 1 to 3 goals, I want you to pick one goal. I want you to look at your sheet of goals and think about, of all of the goals you'd love to do this year, what one goal, when you achieve that, will make all of the other goals easier. And I'm going to pause for a second, and I'm going to ask Steph to tell me show of hands, or just did everybody have at least 2 or 3 goals they wrote down? And circle your trigger goal. Again, you don't have to say what it is just yet, but on the trigger goal side, I'm going to tell you it's going to be the one that you don't want to do.
I was going to say, this feels like a trap.
It is a trap. It's a trap, yes. But it's for your own good.
Yes. And I also turned on chat. I apologize. I didn't realize I didn't have chat turned on for everybody. So if people do want to share the stuff that they're putting down, feel free to throw it in that chat there.
Yeah. And let me elaborate on this a little bit. So as you guys write out kind of your top 2 to 3 goals for this year, there's going to be one on that list that is probably always on the list and you never get around to doing it. So that's the one you have to do first in order for everything else to be easier. I'll give an example that's non-business related. If you are having a difficult time in your marriage and that is impacting everything else that you do, stop and fix your marriage. Even if it's the hardest one, even if it's the one you don't want to face, even if it's the thing that's like, oh, it's just easier to like get in the corner and I don't want to think about it, right? But it's impacting how you move through the day. It's impacting your work. It's impacting your health. It's impacting all those other categories. You have to stop it. And if it was fixed, how beautiful would your life be? Same thing, your finances might be a mess. Your health, you're not taking care of yourself. If you took care of yourself and you had more energy to do your job better, imagine what that looks like and feels like. And that's one that I will share with you guys. Like, I have to constantly work at that because I am not like, I hate working out. I do not like it. I don't enjoy it. When I get on the treadmill, it is only for the purpose of like, so I can have more endurance at Disney, right? Like, it's not my jam. I don't love it. I work really hard at it. Like, my husband got us a stand-up treadmill, which I love. That has helped so much. But that is one that I know if I take care of myself in that category, that impacts how I show up in the world, how I show up for the clients that I help, how I show up for my team, how I show up for my kids and my family. Like, that is one of those trigger goals that if I let it slide or I let it backslide, I feel it real quick. Sometimes I have to go, nope, stop, let me back up and do this so everything else works out easier. And it's always the one I don't want to work on, right? So for whatever that one is for you, circle your trigger goal. And I'm going to ask for anyone that wants to be brave to share their trigger goal. I will ask you guys to put that in the feed if you are so inclined. We'll peek at that here in a second. Now, this is the goal map I'm going to send you. So this is that link. If you guys want a copy of this, what I love, I actually have this in my office and I have a laminated copy so I can erase it and do it over and over. But I use this all year long. So as I achieve goals, I actually can move on to the next one. But I want to actually show you how to use this goal mapping tool. Steph, did anyone share their trigger goal? Was anyone brave enough to share it?
There's a couple. There's yeah. Well, so one, lose the weight and feel good. Love that. And then walk 45, gonna guess minutes per day, 5 times a week. Wow, that's really good. Keeps me happy, healthy, clear-minded. There's another one, social media postings. That's a big one. That's something that seems simple, but it really does take some dedication to sit down and do it. And another one, there's gain 5,000 followers on Instagram for their travel business. That's awesome.
Yes. And I'm going to pick that one because so let's pick one that's business related, since mostly everyone here is our travel entrepreneurs. So gaining 5,000 followers on Instagram is a big goal, right? And kudos to you. I love a big goal. I love a big audacious goal. So how would I then figure out how to hit that goal? Whoever picked that it's a specific goal, it's a measurable goal, it's relevant, and it can be time-based. So I would say add to your goal, I want to add 5,000 followers by the end of this year or whatever the time frame is. So the goal would then go in the middle of this category, right? So if that was your goal, or if your goal was one of the other things, you'd put, what I'm getting at is put your main goal in the middle. But I'm actually going to map this out to give you guys kind of a roadmap here. So gain 5,000 followers on Instagram. So I always put the big goal in the middle. Now, what all of these little blocks are for, because when you're working on a big goal, like I want to lose X amount of weight, or I want to make $100,000, or I want to get 5,000 followers on Instagram, what are all the little subtasks you now have to do in service to that larger goal? Okay, so let's actually map out a couple ideas. So whoever put that down is going to get a free coaching from Cyndi Williams today.
Oh,
which I love
it. It's awesome.
but in all seriousness, how do you gain followers on Instagram? So one way would be you need to be consistent with your posting. So in one of those blocks, I might write post on a cadence of 3 to 5 times a week, or once a day, or whatever your ambition level is, but put what your cadence is going to be. The important thing is I'm going to do consistent posting on Instagram, and I'm going to use hashtags that are relevant to the audience I want to gain. Because you don't just want any followers on Instagram, you want ones that are going to buy your stuff, right? So post in a consistent way, hashtag use hashtags that will get the right types of followers in all of your posts. Okay, so that's going to be one. In another box would be make sure I'm leveraging Instagram Reels. We know short form content, Reels. I train on this all day long, guys. I could go all day about videos, but that's not this show today. But that's, if you're working for followers, you got to get in the Reels game. So you're going to start creating short form content. And I would even recommend you batch record your short form content. That's what's going to go in your batch form short form content X amount of times per month. If you can at least do 2 to 5 reels a week, that would be amazing. Depends on your time, but get that in one of your boxes. The next box, I'm going to add highlights. If you don't already have highlights on Instagram, you should be using those. Boom. The next one might be I'm going to use Instagram stories to show behind the scenes or what I'm working on at my agency. It's another great way to use Instagram. Now I'm down to, I think, the bright teal box. I'm going to decide, I'm going to review, no, let me back it up. I'm going to review my analytics on Instagram monthly and make adjustments based on the analytics. Last one might be I'm going to improve my production quality or my brand message or brand voice. Those are, look how many tasks we came up with in service to that goal in like less than 5 minutes, right? So that's how I would map out the subtasks in service to a larger goal. So whoever had that written down, do all those things and then report back to me. Send me a DM how it goes at the end of the year.
Yeah, keep us updated. That's awesome.
I love it. Yeah, so let us know if that was helpful for you guys. Just type us a little message or let me know if you have any questions. Now, I usually work on 2 to 3 really big goals at a time. So I will use the same map and I will create that for any projects, any major projects we have going on in our company. So we just launched a new portal. We had but we had way more subtasks that would even fit in here. But this is how it started. I want to do this big thing. What are all the little pieces that I'm going to have to do? So you can print multiple copies of this depending on what types of projects you have going on. And that's how you can break down in a very methodical way where you can go back and measure, did I do it? Did I not? Okay. All right. I want to talk about making your goals visible. Once you have decided what your goals are going to be, it is such an easy thing to do. And I know, in the olden days, as my kids would say, we called it having a vision board. You guys can create an electronic version of a vision board today. This is actually the one that sits on my phone and on my desktop, and printed copy on my mirror in the bathroom. I just go to Canva. Literally, it's free. Go to Canva and then grab pictures and things you're trying to work on, goals that you're working on. This was actually my one from last year. So you'll see a lot of self-care things in there, making sure I'm getting that exercise in, eating the right things, working on buying that Porsche Cayenne. That's actually a big, big goal I had for many years. I got that car last year, you guys. So exciting.
That's awesome. Oh my God, congrats.
Well, Stephanie,
So
come
cool.
down to Orlando. I'll give you a ride. It'll be fantastic.
Awesome.
But I worked on that for years and we made that. But every day when I'm opening my phone, I'm looking at the car. I'm looking at what I should have for lunch. I'm looking at, don't forget to take some time and do a bubble bath, right? And it seems so simplistic, but your goals, I learned this from so many great mentors in my 30-year career now in the industry, is that you have to put your goals in front of you every day, or it's real easy just to make it a New Year's resolution thing. That is not what CEOs and top producers, that's not what we do. What we do is we look at our goals every day. We measure them every month against where we wanted to be. We make adjustments until we hit those goals that we're working on. So this literally will take you maybe 30 minutes to build on Canva if you pull some cool pictures on things you're trying to work on, and put it on your screensaver as your phone, put it on your desktop, put it on, print it out and put it somewhere where you look at it every day as a mental cue to kind of plant those seeds in your subconscious so your brain knows that those are the things that you're working on. So anyone have questions on that? This is one of my favorite tools.
Yeah, I don't see, one person did ask about Canva, but I wrote it down. But yeah, it's just canva.com. And it's like one of my favorite websites. It's so good.
Canva. Yeah. So Canva, you can get a free account on Canva, and you can literally get a blank screen. What I did for this one is that they have one that is like for a phone. They have one that's for a laptop. So I created 2 versions. You'll notice they're a little bit different in terms of their dimensions, but I basically took the same one and created 2 versions, and then you can upload it and put it wherever you want. A couple of books that I love, just if you guys are really new to like really crushing goals and like making sure you're moving forward in terms of in every way of your life. These 2 books I really loved. Jack Canfield is phenomenal. He is actually the creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, but he wrote this amazing business book called The Success Principles. It is one of my favorite books. I reread it every single year. I got to meet Jack a couple years ago at a VIP event. He signed my copy of it. It was super fun. But I'm a really big fan of how he lays out, getting your goals accomplished, making sure that they're visible, making sure that you're working towards them. And he has just such a beautiful journey of his own of how he grew his companies. A lot of tidbits you can steal out of there. And then Elizabeth Gilbert, you'll recognize her as the author of Eat, Pray, Love. If you are a travel fan, you've probably seen that movie, but she wrote this amazing book called Big Magic. And what I love about it is, for those of you who don't consider yourself creative people, creativity is the name of the game in today's environment, right? The more creative you can be, the easier your business grows. Things feel more effortless, especially in this world we're living in. So she talks a lot about how to, get creativity back into what you do every day in a way that is, it just feels very natural and authentic. So in moving past that fear. So a couple of book recommendations that I give to my students and that are helpful as well. All right, I'm going to head back over here and put my normal camera back on.
Oh, there I am. There was one person had asked they didn't ask this, but they said this, that they said the success principles has a workbook that goes with it. So you can do a workbook.
It does, yeah. Trying to see, I don't have it back here. It depends where it is. I have all the books in my office. Yes, it does have a workbook. And there's even, for those of you who have teenagers, there is a success principles for kids. And I will tell you one of my favorite things out of that book, for those of you that have children, Jack talks about this event that he did for entrepreneurs where they all had to show up to a party dressed as they had accomplished their goals already. So some of them came in an outfit, like they have a yacht, like I bought a yacht and I did all these things. But I did a spin on that because what I loved about it is for my kids, I said, because he called it like a future party. So you'd come dressed as you are in the future. Cool. And so what I started doing is I started taking my kids on these one-on-one like dates. We call them future dates. And the whole night we had to act as if we were our future self. So my daughter would be like, I'm in theater and I'm going to this college. And I'm like, I'm hanging out on Oprah's boat, and we're just like, and we always tip the waiter like $100 because we're so rich in the future, right? So like the whole thing is you stay in character. And I know it seems so silly, but my daughter is 17 now and she's like, and she's done so many of those things. She was like, I'm going to have friends and I'm going to be in theater and I'm going to be able to sing and I'm going to have these grades. She's done a lot of those things we laid out on those future dates. She has now manifested in her life. So what a beautiful way. So, and they just think it's so funny to do that. So I'll pass that on. The book is full of 100 more amazing tips just in kind of starting to have this mindset, this wealth consciousness mindset about moving forward and accomplishing your goals. So thought that would be very fitting for today's session.
I know. I love that idea. That's really cool. So I have a question for you is what do you do because there's always times where it could be a mix of like you're getting really busy, life does get in the way of your goals, you just might have some small little setbacks or you're just not staying motivated. Like what are some of your tips to staying motivated and keep track?
Yeah, you guys have to carve out time to work on, not in your business. So for me, I work really long days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are my client interfacing when I train, when I create marketing content. I do a lot of showing up and being with my staff. But Mondays, I don't take any meetings. And that's my time to work on, not in my business. So what I do on Mondays is I prep for all the meetings I'm going to have that week. I say, where am I on my goals? Are we behind on this? And I'll send all my emails to my staff, like, where are we on this? What do we need to do? I'll make modifications on Mondays, but literally I'm in my pajamas, scrunchie in the hair, but I get so much productivity done on Mondays because that's on my business, not in my business time. The rest of the week, I can be in meetings, things like that. And then Friday, I preserve for family. So sometimes I take a meeting on Friday, pretty rare. But mostly I'm like getting the kids stuff taken care of, dentist appointments, all that stuff you guys know as parents, we have to balance as well. So I will kind of reserve Fridays for that. Sometimes work overflows a little bit, but it's like a flex day. So again, it's like I can show up in on that whole wheel that we created, right? Like making sure you're making space for the things that are important to you. That's so important. So that's a great question, Steph.
Yeah. Cause that's what, typically happens. You get busy, something gets in the way, but also just like a lack of motivation, you're just kind of like, how do you keep interested?
Here's the thing with goals too. Like so many people, they set goals once a year and then they forget about it. I am very diligent about every single month. I do what did we do based on what we were supposed to do this month? And if we didn't do something or we didn't hit it, I'll give you an example. We launched a whole new front-facing portal for our students. That's a huge project. We moved over thousands of people into this thing and I'm sweating bullets, right? But some stuff didn't get done that I also wanted to get done in February because we were so uber focused on doing that right. So I have a choice. I can feel bad that I didn't get this other stuff done, or I can feel really good that our main thing that we're working on got done, and you just shift the other stuff forward. It's not so many times I see people go, oh, I didn't do it, so I'm a failure. You have to get over that thing, right? How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? So it's taking time every month to go, give yourself credit. Like, wow, we launched Wanderlust Campus. We affected 3,000 people this month, got this new amazing thing. We were able to make these modifications. We did all this XYZ stuff. And yes, the other website updates that we're doing in a different place didn't get done because I didn't have time to look at it. We're going to do it next month. We're just going to move it. This is the new date that we're going to move it operationally to. So just staying on top of it, it's more of an operational kind of approach to it versus, oh, I didn't hit my goal again, or I didn't get my what's going to happen if I only do 3 walks at 45 minutes this week? Am I going to feel bad about that? Feeling bad and taking on stress, those are wasted emotions that don't serve you or your goals. So just have a new approach when it comes to accomplishing goals, and don't be afraid to also every quarter, like reset, readjust, and make new goals. When you hit them, you don't go, I'm good for the year. If you lose the weight or hit the 5,000 followers, like, no, let's go for 10,000 followers. That stuff worked, right? So don't be afraid to start adding those in. I never do goals on New Year's Eve. I always do them like evergreen all year long.
I know, that's so cool. And that's why I also really was excited about this timing. So I was like, this is perfect. Like, the January, it's already out. We're going through the year and we want to like check it out. And I love Danielle, hello. I said, preach, this is hitting me in all the feels right now. It is. I like how, though, I just really like how you mentioned, like, you got to give yourself grace, because that is the thing. We get really hard on ourselves when, like, just like you said, like, if I only did 3 out of the 5 days, like, oh, it's okay. You just move on. So
especially as travel entrepreneurs, because you have to be an amazing travel agent. You also you have to know how to get your business relevant in this online space. And then there's all of these tiers of like, marketing on social media and doing all the things. There's not time for everything, guys. You have to be really careful about where you spend your time, how you spend your time, and you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have failures, but as long as you're failing forward and learning, like what the Nelson Mandela quote, I never lose, I either win or I learn. I love that quote, because it's like, as an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to fail forward, because the faster you fail, the faster you get to the success. That's the real story that nobody tells you.
yeah, that was so true. So true. I love that. There was one question here. So when you were talking about how you have your Mondays, where that is where you plan everything out for the week, check your goals. So they asked, on the days when you work or on your business, so like the Monday, do you have a checklist of stuff to do? So like, do you have a thing that you go down and say, okay, gotta check this, that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very old school. I do have everything in my phone calendar, but I do still I have it downstairs, but I have an Erin Condren planner, and I will on Mondays, I will go through. First thing I always do on Mondays is I look at all of our numbers, our KPIs, our key performance indicators across all my brands. So if those of you that are new to me, I own and operate an agency. We have Wanderlust Campus, which is like a travel school. And then we also have Wanderlust Social, which is like marketing for travel agents. So I look at all of those businesses. I look at what are the sales, what are the conversions, how are we doing on everything? What are the customer service rankings? I look at all the things that are important across my businesses. And that will, from looking at those, I will say, I need to get with so-and-so on that, so-and-so on that. So that will generate a whole bunch of emails out to my staff on things they need to do or they need to report back to me on. Then the next task that I do on Mondays is I prep for all of my meetings. So if I'm having a meeting with Steph Grease from Travefy, because we're mapping out some curriculum for whatever the case is, I will say, what do I need to prep for that meeting? Or what are some things I might want to ask her? What should I be prepared for on that particular meeting? So I will prep, and then that allows me the rest of the week to go meeting to meeting to meeting. And I literally can just pull my notes and go, I already prepped for this. I already have my stuff. So I'll end with my staff too, because we have different, sections of staff with all these different companies. So I'll say operations, I need to talk to them about that, or they're having a meeting with sales, and I'll just prep for those meetings. And then I'll do a check-in on our monthly goals. Like, where are we? Like, I mapped out, I want to be at this particular sales percentage, and then I'll just kind of see where we are, how I feel about that, and see if I need to make any modifications. Like this month, we made a lot of modifications because all the focus had to be on launching Wanderlust Campus for us this month, because that was such a big initiative we've been working on for over a year, that project has. So yeah, a lot of stuff got bumped forward. So then I'm looking into the next month going, where do I put stuff? How do we adjust? And just making modifications. But then by the end of Monday, I feel so prepared going into the rest of the week. It takes off the stress, it takes off the anxiety, and I can really show up and just be there in the meetings and kind of be present, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm going to take that tip because it's so true. That's when you start to snowball into stress mode, is when you don't have things ready. Oh, it's the
Mhm.
craziest part. Yeah, there's someone had mentioned like they have toddlers. So I'm literally typing with one hand as he is on my lap, and Scott, who's in the background here, his preschooler is sitting right next to him right now. We were just talking because there's snow days. So now, like, for those of you who have the snow, well, and you had a freezing or ice
Yeah.
storm too.
We had
So
an ice storm, yeah.
yeah, there's like these kind of things that you just got to roll with, I guess, and you just
Mhm.
make the
Well,
best
and
of it.
so many, like our industry, it's in terms of the demographics, we have a lot of family, like a mom or a dad running their travel business, and you have to roll with the punches. Once you're a parent, it's like everything's gonna, so that's why having everything planned and organized, if a kid gets sick or something happens, I know where all the pieces are, and I know the chess pieces that I can move around. When you're in that state where everything is prepared and organized, then it doesn't feel so heavy. If you're already in a state of chaos trying to go through your day, like, what's this meeting about again, or I forgot, or you're going in unprepared, you're also not as productive. But if something does happen with one of your children, it's like, if you have a clear mind, it makes everything easier. So yeah, you have to have that time to work on your business. And also, if you're this is going to happen to some of you guys next quarter. We're halfway through wave season, and some of you are going to wake up next month and the leads are going to be gone, and you're going to be like, what happened? It's because you're not doing your marketing right now. Your marketing has to be running behind the scenes. So that's another example of like working on your business, because we did our first quarter marketing plan last fall. We had it scheduled in fourth quarter of last year. So everything's working behind the scenes. I was telling Steph earlier, we have almost 30 leads a week we're giving away to our students because we just can't handle them at our agency. So good problem to have, I know.
Yeah.
But the point is that the only way that works is because I dedicated time to work on my business to make sure those things were set up. So when wave season ends, I'm not going to see a huge dip like a lot of people will. It'll still be a little dip, but we have consistent cash flow every single month because our marketing systems never change all year long. So that's an example of you got to give yourself that time to work on the business. If you're so busy doing the booking of the trips right now, which I know you are because it's wave season, and you didn't have any marketing kind of queuing up through this first quarter, expect a dip.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah. We're seeing that big time. Like even for this, they're like, is it going to be recorded? Cause I have like so many things. And wave season is it this year? Like, I mean, it is crazy.
It is. We are doing 68. I just pulled the numbers this morning, 68% more over last year. Last year was an epic year for us, right? So in terms of the number of leads that we're pulling in, and then our close rates are even stronger. So it's phenomenal. And that should just get you guys so excited about the potential of this industry going forward into this year. But I also want you to be very strategic about like how you get your systems in place so you have work-life balance, because people come to us for two reasons. One, they're not getting enough leads, or they're just, can't figure out how to get relevant in the online space. But the other number one reason clients come to me is they're like, Cyndi, I have no work-life balance. All I'm doing, I have too much work, but it's not effective. And it's like their operations are kind of all over the place. So again, that's lack of working on the business or just not knowing those systems to get into place. So take that work on your time, on your business time, guys. It's so important.
Real quick, someone had asked because they're newer agent, and what is wave season?
Oh my gosh, wave season is busy season. So it is January through March of first quarter, basically. That is when a lot of the suppliers will push out promotions. And it's also buying patterns of consumers tell us that right after the holidays, they need that something exciting to look forward to. So most consumers will do a lot of their travel purchases in first quarter of the year. And we refer to that as wave season. So it's a natural time for the industry to be more busy. And that's why some people will go, oh my gosh, my business tanked after wave season. It's not that it has to tank, but usually it's just they got to get some more marketing strategies in place. So
it's not as easy flowing in there.
Even if you don't have a marketing plan, usually you still have a decent amount of business in wave season. So
oh yeah, that's awesome. And I just want to say once again, thank you for all. This is incredible. I mean, I have my whole sheet of things, my notes and all my things. It's so awesome. And but I want to ask, where can people get more information? Because I did put the link in for the goal worksheet. So I have that in the chat, but where can they find all of that?
Yes. So when they fill out for the goal map, we will email them a copy of the map. If they just want to get more information about working with us, you can just go to travelschool.com. That's what we do. We have consulting, training programs, all that good stuff. Another good place to get free content is on our YouTube channel. So just look for Cyndi Williams. We actually have the #1 biggest YouTube channel for travel agents in the world. So, and that was just really grown out of the COVID era, because I was just had nothing else to do and I was showing up and giving you guys all the love and training. So definitely check those out. We have some great content over there for you guys too.
I can see your YouTube or plaque back there.
Yeah,
because I've seen those before.
37,000 followers. So my staff had that made for me. Yeah, we're gonna hit 50 this year. We're gaining at about a couple hundred followers every single week, and that's thanks to you guys, because you're sharing our videos out and commenting on the videos, doing all the things. And listen, we show up and do an educational video every week, whether you're working with us or not. So it's a great place to kind of tune in and learn more about what we do and how we can help you.
Yeah, that's so cool. And and again, this is so incredible. We've never really had a webinar like this where it's just an interactive, take time to sit and think, write things down. So this is incredible. I love this. Thank you so much again.
Well, that's what we do. We do education in the travel industry. So we better be the best at it, right?
Yeah. Education, travel, all the good stuff wrapped into one. So good. I love it. It's so awesome. And just again, thanking you so much again. We will put this recording up on academy.travefy.com, and I'll put those links in there as well, so you can have everything there. But feel free to reach out though if there's a question that you think of later or something, or as you're doing this more, let us know if you have a question for Cyndi, and we'll reach out. But thank you so much again. This is great. And I know this is just our first webinar education time with you for the year. We have more coming, which is exciting.
Yeah. So my team's going to be back. We have a couple other sessions we have planned for you. We've been educational partners with Travefy for years now, but we're bringing you guys a few more videos this year for things that are on your mind. Steph's telling us this is what they're asking for, and then we're building stuff just for this community. So we're really excited to just be supporting you guys. Travefy is such an amazing product. In our Careers on Vacation program and our Wanderlust SEO program, we teach people how to use Travefy effectively within their marketing systems. So it's just a great tool to support everything itinerary planning, and even those great new websites you guys have too that are features. Yeah, Steph and I were talking about that earlier too. So it's a great relationship between the two companies, just in helping newer agents and even experienced agents how to leverage the tools that are available in the best way possible, so you guys can get the best results.
Oh yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's perfect. Yeah, it's really cool. And actually, on that, just a really random thing. You all are the very first people to hear this, but next week we'll start marketing. But we have Training Camp 2023, everybody. For those who don't know what Training Camp is, it is our largest virtual event of the year. So it's the 3rd year. It's kind of came out of the pandemic. Like, what do we do? Let's just do training. And people love it. And we basically do a full week of trainings on Travefy. That's all it is. And it'll be March 13th through the 14th, but we'll start sending out stuff. But you heard it here first, so thanks. That worked out well. Just
hot off the presses.
Exactly. Oh, it's going to be a really good time. So join us for those. It'll be cool. But thank you so much again, and everyone, have fun goal setting. I know I'm ready. I feel my motivation is fueled right now. So this is great. I love it.
I love it. Get out there and get those goals, guys. You got it. It's going to be the best year ever.
Woo! Thank you so much again, Cyndi.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye, guys.
Thanks. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.
You too.